How you doing, Aries? So, got one card out for you, the very first, Seven of Cups. Feeling like you got a lot of options. Trying to figure out what you want to do next. You feel like you got a lot of things ahead of you, but, you're unsure if whatever options you got out there will hold a lot of water that will be something that's emotionally fulfilling for you. You feel like you got a lot ahead of you. Your roads are opened at the moment, and you're figuring out what you want to do next. But you're moving towards something that you don't really know what to expect yet. You have hopes and dreams on the situation. You know what it could be, or you know what each option could involve. But you have something. You have a lot ahead of you, and you're not really quite sure of what to expect from it. So, roads are open, a lot of options, a lot of conflict too. Five of Swords. There was a conflict, a fight, somebody that you were dealing with. Somebody that you had to be sharp with. Maybe somebody around you was, are you feeling confused at the moment? Because there was an argument going about. Maybe some lies or rumors, or possibly someone around you that was like kind of gaslighting you, making you feel confused about things. Being unsure of what to expect, what next. You feel like you're misplacing stuff. Feel like there's a lot of chaos around you, and you don't want to argue. You have someone really argumentative around you, and you feel quite confused of what to think about it, but you don't even want to think about it. You want to cut it out. You're blocking this up. You're being defensive. You needed to make a head over heart decision, because all it was, whoever you were dealing with brought a lot of conflict and a confusion towards you. And so now you're being defensive. You're trying to work on what you're putting a lot of work in to what you got going on. You're working a lot. You have a lot going on. You're trying to build something brand new from the ground up, and you're trying to block out anyone who's trying to interrupt you. Three of Coins. You could be seeking out advice, possibly from somebody more knowledgeable. Maybe this is you seeking treatment for a doctor, therapist wise, but you're consulting. You're consulting with people about a skill or a trade or a job, or about what's involved into going into what I want to go into, what I want to work towards. You're consulting somebody because you're going in because you put a lot of work into something. You're trying to build skill within something, and a lot of work working together with something, but something didn't quite pan out. Something's not really working, Aries. It could be a situation that was abundant, maybe a situation that at one time was like you were working together with somebody that you were dealing with, but whatever happened, maybe there was a job loss. Maybe there was a breakup within the family. But after this, you're trying to build yourself back up, and you're trying to work with whatever that you had going on in the past that kind of confused you. Maybe there was a family unit that you were dealing with. You're working together with a family unit, and you put a lot of work and energy into it. And initially you did work together. You thought it would bring you a lot of a lot of, abundance, but it ended up making you lose money. So it was like a bad investment, maybe. Maybe you went in as a partner on some kind of business and it ended up to be a bad investment. And you lost some money, even though you put a lot of work into it. And it was somebody that you thought you could trust. It was somebody, but they ended up kind of being really abusive, and they actually caused a lot of conflict, a lot of gaslighting, a lot of problems. And it's like, you're causing too much trouble. Like, I try to work with you. I try to build a business or with you. I try to, get something off the ground with you. And I thought it would something that was going to be working and abundant, but it ended up, maybe they could have, you felt cheated in a way, Aries. Maybe this is a bad family business situation that didn't end up working out. And you try to work together with the situation, but it didn't work out because there was a lack of commitment. And somebody here was arrogant. Somebody didn't want to they said they wanted to work with you and put the work in, but they were just out for themselves. And it ended up to be breaking down. There was a lack of commitment here. You put a lot of work into something that you really had a different idea with how it was going to turn out or who the person was. And it was someone who was lacked in commitment. It's someone who can be really foolish to the point that they don't think about, they just don't think. Maybe because they're unsure. They don't want to invest in anything that they're unsure about because they feel like they're overwhelmed with whatever that they got going on. They're trying to work on one step at a time. You're trying to work on things one step at a time. You're trying to put the work in. You're trying to get the day-to-day done. You're unsure of what's going to go on in front of you or even what's in store for in front of you. It's time to put some structure back into your situation. It seems like you had a lot of people that come in that kind of just throw you off balance and cause a lot of conflict, and you feel taken advantage of a lot, but it's because maybe you were not really being observant over the people that you were keeping around you. Maybe you put a lot of energy and time into other people, and it's people that didn't do the same for you. It's people that you had to pick up the weight for all of the time because it was like their heads were in the clouds and you had to pick up the slack. But it brought a lot of conflict. It brought a lot of fights. You feel like you're putting the work in and you weren't getting anything out of it, and you feel like you're being foolish of the situation. And initially you did want to try to work together with this person, and you wanted to try to resolve these issues, and you wanted to hey, we could work this out. But then one person didn't want to work it out. They wanted to be seen as victorious. There was someone who's really arrogant and proud, and it's somebody who can be who doesn't want to compromise or work together. Or the fact that whenever you guys are together, you constantly argue and fight. It becomes like a battle. It becomes like a one-upmanship. It becomes toxic because there's a lack of compromise here. And maybe it could be a lot of parts on both ways. There's a lack of compromise. It's two really strong individuals who just wants to be the boss, and nobody wants to give an inch. They just want what they want. And you have rigidity here. Now there's defensiveness. You really have to look within yourself, a stalemate, and to needing to make a head and heart decision. And you're blocking things out because you don't want to fight with the conflict anymore. There's no compromise in the situation. You felt like it was a lot of wasted effort and energy, and all it brought you was loss. Financial loss, but it was something you put a lot of investment in, tangible wise. And it ended up being a loss for you. Justice at the end. Whatever happens, whatever this loss was, you bring yourself justice by blocking whatever you were dealing with out. Because whoever you're dealing with is really high conflict. And they were draining you. You could have been overcompensating financially, and then, you know, you thought that they would help you out in some way, tangibly. Maybe you've had a lot of history with a lot of people who would just come around that's just kind of toxic and just drains the life out of you. And you always end up losing financially, thinking that it would be a collaborative kind of thing. Like, because you're very collaborative, Aries. People don't always think that about you, but you are. You're looking to work with people, but then you're not going to take any crap when you know that people's taking advantage of you. You're no longer putting the work into things. You know that there was a bad decision putting the work on things because you were investing in foolish people or foolish things. Maybe because you were unsure of what you were going to do next because you were concerned and worried about your plans. And lately you've been feeling like you put in a lot of work and it doesn't get anywhere. You're having trouble staying on top of things. It's time to get organized and structured. You sticking up for yourself after this is going to bring you victory. You want to work together, but now you're starting to work on yourself. There is a big argument and fight here. And it seems like you seeked out like opinions or advice from somebody. You consulted with someone. Or even with yourself or spirit. But whatever you consulted with, you know, it showed you how to become victorious and be seen as victorious. It's kind of like whatever conflict that came about, it was like the universe came in to like take it away from you from this conflict and fight. But ultimately, it's going to lead you to victory. Whatever, after this fight happened, maybe a rough patch. Whatever rough patch that you hit, whatever argument, whatever fight, you had a situation, people around you possibly was talking a lot of crap towards you. A lot of competition, a lot of gossip. Maybe talking behind your back. But whatever fight that broke out, you're going to have somebody coming in say that they want to work with you. But it's someone who is quite arrogant. Be mindful. Don't let your emotions get in the way. Block anyone out that you need to, and be really, really observant of who you're dealing with and who's going to come in and why they're coming in. Because it doesn't look like an abundant situation. It looks like a family unit that broke apart, that lost their money, that divorced, or somebody that kind of like lost, like maybe after a divorce and conflict or a fight, a family unit's fighting, say that they want to work together and put the work in, but they're coming from lack. So be careful about the person that might be coming in, looking to reach out to you. Because whatever happened, it was justice in the end. After this argument, you block this person out. They went to work on something else with somebody else, but then it left them to nowhere. It left to a broken commitment, to infidelity, to loss, to, ill choice. Because they weren't being learned and observant. They weren't listening to spirit. Because they wanted to be seen as victorious. Maybe this person had like a lot of superficial attributes to them. It made them look good. They were good at arm candy. They wanted to be seen as someone victorious. Maybe they have some self-confidence issues. And they wanted to be seen as the winner. But this loss that this person had, it was definitely karmic. And when you block this person out, they feel like they lost a lot. Or they were just coming out of something that they were blocked out of, and they lost a lot financially. And it was karmic, it was just that this happened. Somebody might be coming from the past who screwed you over before. Keep your boundaries up. Someone's coming from lack. But don't save them from their karma, because this is theirs. You share the karma. Of the things that they have coming to them, good or bad, if you involve yourself with them, it'll rub off on you like it usually does. And it's somebody who lacks a lot of commitment, who can be really impulsive and arrogant, and it looks like somebody got their just due. Somebody had a victory, possibly in court, with somebody that, maybe a boss that was shorting you, maybe somebody that stole from you, but you're gonna have a victory. It's like you try to work with somebody and then they ended up screwing you over, but justice is coming for him. And it was done because possibly you weren't being careful of the people you were involving yourself with. So it's time to be a little more observant into who comes into your life. Because you're so trusting, you actually have you think everybody is as straightforward as you are, Aries, but it's not always the case. And you tend to get disappointed a lot because you have that expectations that they would do as you would do. But it seems like it could be a lesson that it's important to be observant with each person and don't automatically assume that they would do the right thing as you would, because it seems like you would get screwed over a lot by people and friends, people that you thought were friends. And people who just wanted to just kind of get over on you and be victorious, but they're going to get their just due. Somebody in the past who was really arrogant, who didn't really think before they acted. Somebody who just wanted to be seen as the winner. Someone who can be competitive. Hierophant in reverse. It could be like a control freak, somebody who wanted to control you and who had to control every little aspect, and they were arrogant, but then justice will be coming, and it's by you cutting them out. Bottom of the deck is the Empress, because you have everything that you need, Aries. And if you didn't, that's why people wouldn't be coming in trying to take with what you have. Something to think about. I'm going to give you a couple of cards as an advice, Aries. Be ready, be poised. Something amazing or something is going to happen. An event, like the show is about to start. The tribe. Reach out to people that when you need help, reach out when you need it. Or you're going to get in touch with a soul family that's going to come back, possibly even maybe running into a soulmate. It's going to be something that's divinely led, something really serendipitous, something that's unplanned, but has some dharma to it, like fated. Do things by the book. Take care of yourself and what you need. Look into the details of things in your everyday life, because this is something that's karmic and it's going to lead to something amazing. Move on from conflict of old. Stay true to yourself. Work on what you got going on, because you got something amazing coming in. You just have to remember to block out the vampires, because they got what they're going to get, what there's coming to them, Aries. And so will you. Alrighty. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Donation button below if you would like. That was an easy read and it was pretty awesome. Bye.